Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Pointy Not Sharp. Today we're taking a look at a Canadian C7 bayonet made to fit the C7 or C8 rifles, which are essentially Canadian versions of M16s. Now, apologies if I sound a bit out of it today. I'm still down with a pretty nasty case of the spicy cough. I'm not at my usual filming location because of that. Anyway, we'll jump into this bayonet. There's about 70,000 of them made by NELLA CUTLERY in Toronto. NELLA's a pretty cool little company in that it started with a single Italian immigrant in 1951, and all he did was like a mobile knife sharpening business, like door to door, I'll sharpen your knives for you, miss. And eventually he scaled up and started making his own knives and knife sharpening gear. And then out of nowhere in 1983, he made a bid for the Canadian contract for the 70,000 C7 bayonets, and somehow he won the contract. Which was a $1.7 million contract. I don't know what that is per bayonet, but it's not very much. But from there, NELLA's done pretty well. They're still around today. They still make commercial knives, kitchen knives. So, yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, we're looking at the bayonet here and not NELLA. So, the prior to the C7, sorry about that, guys. There's my daughter running around in the background. Prior to the C7 rifles, Canada were using the C1A1, which is like their version of the FN FAL, and that was using the C1 bayonet, which is essentially like the L1 series of bayonets, like what the British used. So I don't have a C1 to show you, but I've got a L1A2, the Australian version, right here, and very, very similar, pretty much identical to what I've got here, except the Canadian versions had a blade in the white and a couple of markings on them. Put that away. Now, this bayonet itself was designed in 1982 and was modelled after the US M7 bayonet, which I've got here. We've all seen the M7. It's just got that classic M3 style of blade. Put that one away to the side. Now, while it was designed in 1982, manufacturing began in 1983, and that's when the contract was landed by NELLA, and it was formally adopted in 1984. And it was used for quite a few years until it was replaced in 2004 by the CAN 2000/2005, which is an absolutely awesome bayonet. I'd love to get my hands on one, but I don't think that's too likely anytime soon. I might jump into the construction of the blade very, very quickly. While essentially it is a copy of the M7, there are a couple of minor differences, the first of which, we have a stainless steel blade. And the stainless steel blade comes in two kinds of finishes. So you have the subdued, which is kind of a matte, like we have here, and this is what most soldiers were issued. But then you also had the shiny, bright version, and that was a presentation version of this bayonet, and I've also read that it might have been issued to officers, but I can't confirm that. The other major difference is that the scabbard is made of a really, really light, really, really brittle plastic compared to the M8A1 and M10 scabbards that the M7s used. Now, the actual blade itself is quite sharp, very similar to the M7s I've got in my collection. It did surprise me when I first got my first M7s and when I got my hands on this one, how sharp they actually were. The handles are pretty much the same as what you get on the M7. They're just held on by two little flathead screws and two little nuts on the opposite side, and then we've got the same device down the bottom. Pretty much the same way of connecting as the regular M7. As I said, the scabbard is just a really, really light plastic. It's got some markings on the back. I'll get into those in just a sec. And then we've got like a green nylon pattern of 1982 frog. The later patterns of these frogs actually came with a hilt strap or handle strap, whatever you prefer to call it. Now, very quickly, I might disassemble this bayonet so that you can have a look at the guts of it, because there's some pretty interesting markings inside. Not to mention, it's pretty interesting how they've connected the crossguard. I haven't taken too many M7s apart, or any really, so I don't know how they're usually connected. Oh, good, there it is. There's a little washer type thing in here. I was terrified I'd lost again. but no, it was on the other side where it was supposed to be. So these just unscrew. Come on. Pop out, please. And as you can see, the tang just got 2 holes in it, and the crossguard sort of circles down and goes through another hole in the tang. The tang terminates into the pommel, and it's just beaten into place. Put that over there. The handles are just plastic, nothing too special about them. The screws, pretty standard, got little washers on them. They're really, really easy to lose, little washers. I thought I'd lost the first one, but it's still stuck there in the hole. And then on the reverse, we've just got these tiny little nuts. Now we'll look at the actual markings on the bayonet, and externally there's a couple, but the internal ones are what I find interesting. So on the crossguard here, we've got C7 where my finger is, and then down here we've got NELLA, so it's the manufacturer and the model of bayonet. And those are the only markings I was able to find on the actual bayonet itself. Now we move down to the handles, and inside the handles there, you'll see a little maple leaf down the bottom there. Focus please. There we go, and above that NELLA. And on the reverse there, just like a little product code or manufacturing code or something like that. I've seen a couple of these codes are slightly different, so they do vary a bit. And same again on this one, no change. Then on the base of the scabbard here, we've got, I believe that's NSN, NATO stock number. And then underneath, NELLA 1/86. I've read a few accounts where people have stated 1/86 is when it was manufactured, but from what I can tell, every single one says NELLA 1/86. So I dare say that's not the date of manufacture. Of every single example I can find has that. And then just as you can see on the frog, we've got a couple of cool little markings from soldiers who've been issued this one over the years. So we've got Beecham and Jackson down there. It's pretty cool. There's probably another one there, but it's been scratched out. I can't make it out. But those are the only markings you'll find on this. There weren't any on the mouth, which I was a bit surprised about. But yeah, cool little bayonet. I want to get my hands on a C1 to do a video on that. But I underestimated this one, and they are quite difficult to get down here in Australia. So I was quite lucky to have someone loan this to me so I can show it to you. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and feel free to comment below with anything I've missed or any mistakes I've made.